stars who brought you RuPaul's Drag Race and $1 Million Listing. This is World of Wonder's Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Hello and welcome. I'm Fenton Bailey, co-founder of World of Wonder, joined by the inestimable Tom Campbell.
I like that. Hello, Fenton.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I got that little thing in my chest, but I don't feel sick.
Feels authentic.
I just sound sick.
James, St. James. For those of you not watching on worldofwonder.tv.net, I mean, here is James covered in a, what is it? It's like a monk look.
A little babushka. It's just a little something. It's my little Edie. It's a little chilly in here today. It's a little cold, and I'm making a statement.
Can I just say you are serving Grim Reaper realness, girl?
Grim Reaper realness. Actually, before, what we do here is we count down the top 10 things that made us go, wow. But before we get into that countdown, congratulations to Andy Cohen.
Oh, how exciting.
Arrival of his baby.
Yes.
Baby son.
What was the name?
Benjamin Allen Cohen.
And I just saw on Twitter he posted a picture of the little fingers. Oh my God, the little fingers were so cute.
Not so little. 9 pounds.
What?
2 ounces. That is bigger than a buttable turkey. That is a big baby.
Bigger than a bread box.
I love that expression.
And born on the eve of Chinese New Year.
Year of the dog.
Mm-hmm.
No?
Congratulations.
Actually, Year of the Pig.
Oh.
But I don't think that's not bad.
Maybe we were going from the dog to the pig.
Exactly.
That means that Andy's gone from zaddy to daddy.
Oh.
Hey.
That was a pig oink. Oh, Year of the Pig.
Okay.
All right. So, and also congratulations to Pink on getting her start on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Oh.
Right outside here.
Seriously?
Was it yesterday?
No, yes, it was yesterday. Yes.
How fun.
Yes.
I can't wait.
Was it in the rain?
Hopefully not.
Oh, poor Pink.
Intermittent showers, spring showers.
For many years, Blake and I have joked about the fact, well, not joking, this is going to be real, that when I do my one-woman show, I have a whole section of Pink numbers that I plan on doing.
He'll just burst into song to just like a Pink
I can't
song.
wait.
Okay, well, let's count down the top 10 things that made us go, wow, this week.
Number 10.
Number 10. Tom.
Well, I want to get serious. I want to talk about the changing face of superstardom, how our business is blowing up left and right. I want to talk about Ariana Grande.
Oh,
that was just an excuse for me to talk about Ariana Grande. It's kind of interesting because it's Ariana. We've said this before. It's Ariana Grande's year. I hate to brag, but I know years ago when you guys were not on the Ariana train, I was. We had our biggest fight ever off air.
I think we might have another one today.
But what's happening is, and Blake told me this, she's dropping a new album today, Friday, dropping Ariana Grande, new album. But you're like, wait a minute, wasn't Sweetener just dropped like a few months ago? And the answer is yes, it was. Isn't she going out on a Sweetener tour? Yes, she is. And yet she's like, because she's like, I'll promote 2 albums at one time. All the rules are off. It's like social media affects everything. But now music is like, she drops songs like they're like tweets or something. And the momentum, I think, is Thank You Next was her first number 1. Thank You Next was she just broke up with Pete Davidson, and then she wrote Thank You Next. It became her first number 1, unsupported by an album, and then she did this remake of My Favorite Things called 7 Rings, where she got the tattoo that said 7 barbecues or something, which is so hot.
And then she changed it, and it said barbecue fingers. In fact, she made it even worse.
When your misspelled tattoo makes world headlines, you're hot. But she's just, what do you think? I mean, the traditional idea was like have an album, put it out there, tour its ass off.
Well, it's
and
like
then
the Rihanna thing. Rihanna used to release an album every year, and she's even up in Rihanna now.
Well, yeah, I'm saying it's
2
just
albums in 6 months.
But I love that idea of defying all the popular wisdom about how things get released, and I think that is yet to happen in TV and programming, where all the rules just get broken and you surprise drop things. With I guess they did that with the 2 Fire Festival docs. One dropped without any announcement.
Right.
Everyone was like, "Oh my God!"
The binging.
And back in the day, like the Beatles would release 2 albums a year.
I was just going to say, let's not pretend like this is something new, because the Beatles would release 3 albums a year. year, every year. You know, Elvis used to do
But it went
5
away.
albums a month.
James, are you saying that Ariana Grande is today's Beatles?
Yes, that's right. Well, no, that's not what I'm saying. Oh, how dare you. What I am saying is don't pretend like she's doing something brand new when what she's doing is just harkening back to the way that it used to be done.
Is there a little Ariana hostility underlying?
A little.
Well,
You two are
yeah.
always fighting me. I think it's
feel-
because she's a woman. If she were a man, you wouldn't feel this way. You hate women, and you hate Ariana Grande.
I don't know where
I'm just
I saw it or
being
came across
silly.
it, but I suddenly feel shamed that at my age as a man, like I read some comment or heard some comment about like old men talking about Ariana Grande. I feel suddenly age inappropriate.
It was on
even talking
YouTube.
about her.
I do accept.
I feel shamed.
We were shamed. We were shamed in the comments that I don't read, right? I mean, there's 10. It's not hard to miss them. But like what bunch of middle-aged men talking about Ariana Grande. And I think it's okay. I live for diva music, and Ariana and
Is a
Miley
diva.
is a diva.
I'm
They're
not
the
going to
voices of a new
defend
generation.
myself for liking or not liking
you don't have to.
somebody.
You don't have to.
That's ridiculous, and there's nothing ageist about it. How dare you come for me for expressing an opinion about someone?
I know.
That's ridiculous. And like I said, there's nothing about my age that says
Exactly.
that I have to like or dislike someone.
And next week, I will do a long segment on Rosemary Clooney. That I think is more age appropriate. But Ariana Grande, the new album, check it out, stream it. I do think just when you go and hear like a great artist, like 30 years later, you realize there was one period when they were really fertile and really important. So why not just dump it all out?
No, absolutely. I love it when an artist gets in a groove and it just hit after hit after hit. And she certainly seems to have hit that groove.
Yep.
So yes, keep going.
Go, Ariana.
Give us more. Although I don't really like the songs. I mean, I love the music. I just don't like
I
the
love her
sentiment
voice.
that much.
Oh, really?
I suppose I
Well,
don't
thank you
like-
next.
It's a bit
Thank you
toxic.
next.
Anywho,
Number 9.
number 9, James.
Well, you know, a couple weeks ago we talked about You. We talked about the Netflix show You, about the very charming, very handsome stalker.
Yes.
Remember, starring Penn Badgley.
Yes.
And he had to actually go on Twitter and say, please stop saying you're in love with the character from Who. Please stop saying that please stop sexualizing and thinking this guy is hot because he's a stalker, right? Now, also,
Is it a true story?
no, it's just he's
He's
just
just playing a part.
You
Yes.
don't remember this? You don't remember
He
me
may have
talking
been.
about
He may have
this?
been on vacation.
I doubt that.
Try to cover for you.
Thank you very much.
He was here, but he was on vacation.
Exactly. Yes. We had a long discussion about this show. It was inside of his mind. Anyway, okay.
I remember. Look, talk to me.
Thank you. Okay. Also, on Days of Our Lives right now,
I remember that too.
there's a really hot serial killer with a heart of gold, and he's just poor. He's misunderstood, and he's very handsome and everything. When the actor named Robert Scott Wilson goes to meet and greets for Days of Our Lives, women are bringing neckties. He's a necktie killer, and women bring neckties and say, "Strangle me, Ben, strangle me," because he's so hot. Okay, all of which
Suppose I shouldn't be laughing. But
all of which brings, and he's had to go and say, please don't,
No
please,
more neckties.
no more neckties. Please, let's not do this anymore. Well, now on Netflix they have a new show called what is it? Ted
I Am the Night.
No.
Oh.
No.
I think it's Sunday Fun Day with Ted Bundy.
No, it's the Ted Bundy tapes.
It's the Ted Bundy tapes, and it is the actual Ted Bundy tapes. And everybody, and they also have just acquired extremely wicked, shockingly evil and vile, the Ted Bundy
A scripted movie.
a
Zac
scripted movie
Efron.
starring a very buff Zac Efron.
Well, then why do they cast Zac Efron if they don't want us to get all hot and bothered?
Well, that's exactly it. But people are going online, and there's a major discussion right now about whether Ted Bundy was hot or not. And the Ted Bundy tapes seems to be skipping over the actual victims, and just to talk about how charming he was, and how handsome he was, and how blue his eyes were, and how chiseled his jaw was, and everything like that.
You hater of Ariana Grande, find Ted Bundy hot. I'm gonna
I'm
bury
he
Fett
was
in this
good
show.
looking. Okay, so
He was good looking. Can't you be good looking and be a serial killer? Why do we have to be so definitional?
Well, I thought some people have argued that it's good that, well, not good, but like it shows that there are handsome
criminals
people.
can be good looking.
Yeah.
Why they got to be ugly?
So
Right.
beware.
Well, okay.
Here's the thing, James. Not to interrupt your flow, but like, I think culturally we've always been obsessed with fetishized, sexualized criminals and killers. What was Dexter
Well,
on
isn't that what
Showtime
you
for
did
how many
with Michael
seasons?
Ehrlich?
Well, that's what we were accused of, but we were telling the story. And I think, explain to me the true crime wave in America. Explain to me how investigations discovery is so popular. Why do we care about true crime?
Yes, and I think right now
but
there's
you're
a
saying
way.
the only reason why we would care about true
Not
crime
saying the only
is
reason.
if they're
I'm saying
hot?
It's an element.
People are titillated by it in general.
Exactly.
Because I think everyone's like, oh my God, I only watch documentaries now. I'm like really smart. And me and my friends, we just watch documentaries. But they're all mostly true crime documentaries about horrible murders and cults. And we've done some of that programming. I'm not saying it shouldn't be done, but it is a moment in time where I think our entertainment is brutal. Our fascination is like extra brutal about death. I don't know if that's because we're all not going to be able to breathe in 12 years. And so we're just
think
like.
It's also because the exploring mortality and storytelling is a way of dealing with something that we're all going to have to face, death.
Right.
And it's a way of dealing with it. What do you think,
the sick
James?
mind.
I mean, you wrote the book. Come on.
No. But I did not write a book about how hot Michael Ehrlich was. That was completely the opposite of what I did. I tried to break down the fact that the reason why people, I found it weird that people were fetishizing him and people were I think that's all creepy and wrong. And I also think the fact that that they're glossing over the actual crime to talk about his charm is sort of doing a disservice to everyone who he killed. And isn't it wrong the fact that we like?
Well, it's like Charles Manson gets all the attention. They don't talk about all the victims.
We aren't talking about how hot Charles Manson is.
Well, I mean, there was a time,
but
he had a kind of.
I think the fascination, and when they're good looking, and they sexualize them. The best way to deal with it for me, I'm not going to watch the movie. I'm not going to watch the documentary.
But I did watch you, and I did walk away coming to the. I did watch you, and I did come onto the show and talk about how hot Penn Badgley was.
And I think anything scripted, especially, they're obviously adding that. You know, they're casting certain people. They are presenting them in a way.
Is that wrong for the young people? Is that sending the wrong message?
I think it's also an ancient trope, isn't it? I mean, the Prince of Darkness is a gentleman. The idea that the satanic figure is the most beguiling, the most attractive, and that God, this is a problem in Milton's Paradise Lost, God is really boring, but Satan's really hot. And it was like, this goes back hundreds of years.
Okay.
I don't have any kind of answer, but...
Let's repeat that just in. God is boring. Satan is hot. You're listening to the Wow Report on Radio Andy, SiriusXM.
In Milton's Paradise Lost. Go read it. I think.
But I do want to say,
a good headline. That's going to get us clicks.
This is an extra part that we can cut out, and we can just keep this for the YouTube thing. But an argument that people are having about Ted Bundy online is that the young people are saying that they don't get it. They don't think he was hot, and the older people are saying, well, it's 70s were a different kind of hot, and the people in the 70s were, they had different hair. They had different teeth. They had different muscular.
They had different bodies. Burt Reynolds, hairy chest, not chiseled, mustache.
And if you think about it, if you try and explain to people, I've tried to show people Leif Garrett, Sean Cassidy, Andy Gibb, and they do not get it. The young people do not understand what we would have seen in Leif Garrett. Do you think that there is a difference in 70s bodies and 70s attractiveness and 70s handsome men?
I feel like this is a full feature movie topic you just brought up here at the end.
It's kind of like we're all obsessed with big asses now, and we weren't like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And James, just look at religious art of the sort of 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th centuries. I mean, you have these sort of incredibly violent scenes, gore-drenched scenes with what they thought then were hot-looking people. I mean, it's just a whole... It's
I'd like to
shit,
think
right?
that there's a lid for every pot when it comes to attraction. Oh. Like the guy who cut my hair thought I was really hot. So, thank you.
Did he?
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Said I was really hot.
Okay.
I don't have a 70s body. I don't know. You went off.
Number 8.
Number 8, look, it's been raining. That's all I really want to talk about.
Okay.
Well, no, LA has been so dry for the last 10 plus years. I mean, and then just, you see? Oh my God. Just as I was talking about the rain in LA, for those of you watching on worldofwonder.net, the power went out.
It was
we just
crazy.
plunged into darkness.
It's Steven Saban again, is what it was.
Well, it rains in LA, and all the traffic goes haywire. And the LA rain is like, it's biblical, I think. It's not just a few raindrops. It's just drenching downpour. And it feels like it's been raining for weeks. And that's fine, except yesterday at home, the power went out. We had a complete power outage for like a whole day.
I've told you that, because you live in, or sort of by Larchmont, you live in Hancock Park.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. I live over right by you. I'm like 5 blocks away. But whenever it rains, whenever there's a big wind, whenever there's a slight drizzle, my power goes out for the entire day. My cable goes out. It is maddening.
Yeah.
And it's because Los Angeles doesn't know how to deal with anything.
It's the strangest thing. And it wasn't like a power outage in a traditional sense. Like the lights were dim and they were flickering. It was like we were in our own American horror.
I would say it's a haunting, actually. That's not actually a power outage.
Right.
Well, no, it is because it's one of the oldest neighborhoods in Los Angeles, and so that power grid is very old, and that's why it goes out all the time.
And all the rich people live there, so they're really peeved off.
Well, that's just it. That's what I never understand, because it is a very wealthy neighborhood.
Again, it was in favor in the 20s, and it went out of favor, went to Beverly Hills, and then in the past 10, 20 years, everyone's moved back.
Well,
yeah.
It's like in Beverly Hills. Why can't you ever get cell service? Like, what do all those people do?
Oh, they don't want you in Beverly Hills, Blake. That's specifically targeting you.
No, but
Get out.
I never understand with all the wealthy people in Hancock Park why they are not, pitchforks, and why they aren't screaming and shouting about it. Because how dare you have us without power? We have things to do. We're wealthy people.
And the funniest thing is, you think, a power cut out. So, you can survive a power
But
cut.
if you haven't powered up your iPad, if you're at like 3% or something, you are screwed.
I thought, no, it's fine. I'll just spend time on my phone. But then I was like, oh, I have no Wi-Fi.
No.
And then I was like, oh, I'll go get something to eat. Oh, my car is stuck in the garage. Oh, I can't open the garage door. So I manually managed to open the garage door, which was a whole thing in itself.
Poor thing. Oh, my God.
But you need electricity to charge your car.
And then I couldn't open the gate.
Well, what do you do? I know, it's terrible. How do you even call an Uber? How do
He
you
had
get
to
car
spend
service?
time with his family. It was awful.
It is.
Talking to each other.
All right.
My
okay.
electric blanket went out. I mean, for God's sakes, I had to put like 5 blankets on.
Okay, get caught up on this season.
And then there was no hot water. Well, I mean, what? How could I shower? How could I bathe?
That explains a lot.
Caught up on this season of MDL LA on the Bravo app, and tune in Thursdays 9 p.m. Stay for Backyard Envy immediately following MDL LA with the Manscapers. And we'll be right back. We have the Manscapers joining us a little bit later. This is the Wow Report on Radio Andy. But I cannot leave you without the trivial question. Do you want
the trivial question?
It's very trivial.
Trivial?
This week's trivia question is trivial.
Well, it always is. California's record rainfall for a 24-hour period occurred June 22nd, 1943.
You remember that?
I was there.
In the San Gabriel Mountains, how much rain fell? You're listening to Wow Report on Radio Andy. We'll be right back with the compelling reply, with the compelling answer.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report.
And welcome back. I am Fenton here with Tom and James and Blake. And we're doing our usual thing of counting down the top 10 things that made us go,
wow.
We are experiencing torrential rains at the moment here in LA.
Terrible.
Terrible.
It's clearing up. It's clearing up.
And so this prompted me to ask you what the record rainfall in California was. And the clue was it was January 22nd, 1943.
That really helps.
I actually don't know the answer. I'm going to go with like 43 inches.
Oh,
I guess
that's a lot.
That is a lot, actually.
That's like that's like 3 feet.
I'll bring it down. Let me do 12 inches then.
Oh. I'm gonna say 1.5 feet.
That's 18 inches.
I'm going to say 19 inches.
You son of a bitch.
Well, Tom wins.
Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you.
26.2 inches.
Stop it.
That is a lot
That's like
of water.
a little over 2 feet.
That's like that much. That's huge.
I'm glad we weren't here in 1943.
The fact that it happened in 1943 really helped me hone in my number.
Okay. What do we got? Number
7.
Number 7.
This is not, for once, a shameless World of Wonder plug, though we will be talking about RuPaul. This is a show we have nothing to do with, other than we love RuPaul and we wish him the best, and that is The World's Best, a new talent show on television. I caught the one after the Super Bowl, not because I watched the Super Bowl, which is coming up later, but
wasn't it the premiere episode?
It was the premiere episode. Yeah. It's a super group kind of thing because Mark Burnett is behind it. Mike Darnell from Warner Brothers is behind it, and it
has Drew Barrymore.
Yes, it's Got Talent, but it's a global, so they made it bigger. And I gotta say, they succeeded. It's not my kind of show normally, but it does, if you watch, suck you in.
What was the strangest thing you saw?
Well, I'm going to get to that, but I do want to say
the
judges.
I want to say
the judges are RuPaul Charles. He uses his last name.
Sure.
He's dressed as a man, male drag. People pay attention.
Like Julie Chen Moonves.
Yes. Drew Barrymore, who's a huge get. That's a movie star doing the judging, and Faith Hill. So very mainstream.
And James Corden is the host.
James Corden is the host. CBS's very own James Corden. And they do this in America's Got Talent and X Factor. But the thing is that the acts, everyone's mic is hot. Okay, so it's the 3 American judges. And the idea is that to make it in America, you have to really make it in the world, you have to make it in America. So the 3 judges each make up 50% of the score. So they lock in their scores. We see their score.
I'm not quite sure I understand the score.
And now
here.
behind them, there are 50 judges from 50 countries. I might be wrong.
Where do they find these judges?
Central Casting. And they're all sitting behind these kind of like Star Trek.
There is somebody from Kazakhstan there. Are they in Kazakhstan?
They are. No, the set is the 3 of them in front, and then 50 pods, lit up pods that look like a Star Trek, like the meeting of the.
But they aren't actually in France or Brazil.
No,
or Portugal.
They're holding the flags.
Yeah, they're holding the flags, and one might be a choreographer, or one. And you go live mics. Obviously, the majority of time is on our American judges, but they go back, and this is what happened twice during the finale, which I'm calling bad at it, because they have to comment while someone's playing, and it will be Fenton's question answered. It will be like a woman from an Asian country who's playing the violin with her amputated. She has an amputated arm, and her bow arm is a robotic arm. So it's like, I mean, they really padded the first one with things you can't not. 3 little kids, I forget their names, who can like sing, who can sing, but everyone has to, the mics are hot, so it's like James Corden going, wow. Or like the judge for the Republic country going, I'm getting goosebumps. But they refer to their arm, they say, I'm getting goosebumps. But earlier in the show, Drew Barrymore also got goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps. So you have to express everything out loud, like, wow. And so the American judges lock in up to 50 points. It might be 49, it might be 35. And then it has to get to 75 for them to get to the next round. And so this is my favorite part because it's kind of like Simon meets a popcorn.
So like tic-tac-toe.
And it's like, okay, what do the judges have? It's like all their desks, each desk has a light. It's like boop, 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 boop.
What do they do? What do they do? Do that again. I don't think we got that. One more time.
But it'll be like 65, 66, 67, 66, and it's so manipulated. But you're just like, are they going to make it? Only one person in the premiere got turned down. He was like a sword swallower. Nobody wants this. I don't want to see that. And they ended very cleverly on a man, an English magician who'd locked himself in a small case of water. And I think he dies. What? I think he died. They left it on a cliffhanger. Is he going to make it? Is he going to live? And it's like, but that was the cliffhanger to get you to Wednesday night, which I haven't seen yet.
But now, wait a minute. Okay, I still want to go back to these judges again. Because I'm not quite.
I'm listening.
No, you aren't.
I can listen and make noise at the same time.
These judges.
Yes. They're there. They represent each country. There's 50 judges.
By representing, are they from China or are
presumably,
they Chinese American?
Presumably. I'm saying central casting. I'm sure it's like, by the end, the casting person's like, my cousin speaks Spanish.
James is wondering, are they actually in that country?
No,
or in a room next door?
They're on the set. RuPaul can see them.
All happen. Do they speak American?
It looks like
California accents?
No, they have their accent, and they dressed very appropriately for their. It's like Model UN. On CBS, World's Best, and the set looks like it's the tribunal or whatever for like Star Trek. It's the most like there are 53 people in desks with lights around them, and when they lock in their vote,
All right. Watch first episode of on the CBS app or CBS.com. Tune in to the world's best Wednesdays, 8 p.m. on CBS.
Does he RuPaul Charles?
Does RuPaul make chicken noises?
Not yet.
Number 6.
Number 6, TNT has a new series called I Am the Night. I don't know if you've been seeing the billboards around town.
Chris Pine
with
major movie star doing a TV show.
And Patty Jenkins is the director, is the executive producer from Wonder Woman. And she and Chris Pine got along like a house on fire, and they decided they needed to keep doing projects together. And so this was the project they landed on. It's sort of a noir. It's sort of a noir pastiche. It's set in 1965. And Chris Pine is like a sleazy photographer for a sleazy rag, and he there are two stories going concurrently. There's Chris Pine and his he's trying to make it in Hollywood, and then there's a light-skinned black girl who is sort of passes for in the parlance of the time.
Yes.
And her mother is a maid, a single mother, and she's sort of an alcoholic, and she's very abusive. And the girl,
a bit of a nod to Imitation of Life.
Sort of, yeah. And the mother is, the actress is really bad. Oh my God, the acting is horrible. But at one point, the mother passes out, and the girl goes digging into her mother's things and discovers that she is in fact adopted, and that the mother there's some weird shady thing that happened in the adoption, and so she decides that she's going to find out who she is and what her lineage is, what her parental parents are. So to that, and she runs away and she goes to Los Angeles, and she finds her grandfather, who lives in the Frank Lloyd Wright Blade Runner house over on Franklin. You know, the fabulous. Yes. And he's sort of an evil. We don't really know what's going on, but he's throwing these fabulous 60s parties where everyone is dressed in fabulous outfits, and they're doing the frug and the frug and the shug and the whatever. And we've come to find out throughout the course of the series that she is probably the daughter of the Black Dahlia.
Of the murder mystery.
Victim from the 1940s. Remember, she was
headless corpse.
Headless, a limbless corpse. They thought that it was a mannequin, and the corpse had been drained of blood, and it was just they left all the body parts on the side of the road. Now, this is actually a true story. It's based on a book that came out about 10 years ago, in which they think that they found the Black Dahlia's daughter.
This is a limited series, and they're exploring that mystery throughout.
Yes.
I have a very important question.
Oh, yes.
No, you go first.
Well, Chris Pine does what? He's playing who?
Well, he becomes obsessed with trying to prove that she is the Black Dahlia's daughter, because he's a reporter, and so he finds the girl, and then the two of them are trying to figure out.
Why do we care?
Well, it depends on whether you care about Chris Pine. It depends on whether you care about Patty Jenkins. It cares if you care about the Black Dahlia. It cares if you care about the 1960s.
There's this woman named Scarlett, and she has a plantation.
Why do we care about anything? For crying out loud!
Why do we care about who the child of the Black Dahlia victim was? That's what I'm trying to say.
Because it's the Black Dahlia. It's one of the most famous crime stories of the 20th century.
Imagine if you're trying to figure out who you are, which is already intriguing, and then you find out you might be.
Who did the Black Dahlia?
Know she was the daughter.
This is her mystery that she's uncovering.
This is her story.
She's finding out her own identity.
Yes. Oh. She comes to believe that she is the Black Dahlia's daughter.
Who's listening?
Exactly. And the Black Dahlia, who knew that the Black Dahlia even had a daughter? It just adds another whole, in the fact that there's this whole mystery surrounding the daughter, and on top of the mystery of the mother.
It's a very modern way in.
Generational stories of this murder that just keeps going. It's fascinating in all of America except for you for 70 years now.
The Black Dahlia had a little baby?
Well, that's what we're trying to find out.
Maybe not. Keep watching.
Yes.
I do have one important question, then we have to move on. Does Chris Pine bathe, go swimming?
Well,
does he hang out in shorts at home? Like, I need to know if there's any Chris Pine-ness.
The first scene is him he's on a beach, and he's in a bathing suit.
I'm in.
Well, and he's got tattoos, and you think, well, this is 1965. Why would he have tattoos? That's a little odd, isn't it?
Unless he was in the Navy or something.
Well, that might be it. Who knows? But
all right, I'm in. I want to watch the first 3 minutes for sure.
I Am the Night airs on Mondays, 9 p.m. on TNT. Also available, of course, on the TNT app.
Oh, this just in, Fenton Bailey's review. Who cares?
Number 5.
Number 5, Tom and I, the other week, we went to Realscreen in New Orleans. James, have you been to Realscreen?
No, I've been to New Orleans. I love New Orleans.
Never been.
Did you go to Marie Laveau's, the voodoo shop? Did you see any voodoo?
We were in the Sheraton almost the entire time because Realscreen is a convention for unscripted producers.
But did you have like some beignets?
Producers meet with networks. There's a meeting. Basically, your schedule, everyone's schedule, is half hour. So you have a meeting on the half hour, and people are either pitching or being pitched to. I call it the squat and pitch because it gets to be so primal at some point. Can you imagine listening to me and people like me for 3 days straight every half hour?
Mm-hmm.
But did you have any jambalaya? Did you have any crawdaddies? Did you have any?
I had lunch at the Bourbon House.
You did, okay.
And I don't know, everything was bread and shrimp and a delicious sauce. That's all I know. And everything was bread and shrimp and a delicious sauce. And I loved it.
Did you go to the above ground cemeteries? Have you seen those?
No.
They're fantastic.
We have to go back.
Why we're talking about Realscreen? Because we did nothing. I mean, this is the first time Realscreen was founded, I think, in 1999, and it's always been in Washington, D.C., and we would go.
In January.
And after years of going, everyone's like, oh, I don't want to go to Realscreen because everyone gets sick because you're in a hotel sort of conference room with these low ceilings and everybody's pitching and spitting at each other. So finally, they moved it to New Orleans, and I think that was a really smart idea because everyone's like, "Oh, let's go to New Orleans."
But then you didn't spend any time.
And then we were all basically in the Sheraton in New York, which is perfectly
with
nice
one
hotel.
major exception.
Yes.
That World of Wonder that Randy and Fenton. I guess I was in the invitation as well, and Randy's friend
Sarah Renaud
hosted the most amazing party on Tuesday night in Sarah's. Who knows Sarah's? I've always seen Sarah in LA. I thought it was an LA girl, but she has several homes, including she has this beautiful second-story apartment with like doors as big as your imagination, with a patio on Jackson Square. Am I correct?
I think that's right. One of those old squares with the it was Big Frida's birthday.
It was a Big Frida's birthday party. Who's from New Orleans? Yeah. So she was there. Everyone was like, "Is she gonna perform?" It's like it's her birthday. Back off. But they brought in a traditional Louisiana brass, playing the songs. So it was so much fun. And
did you get to walk downtown at least? Did you get to see some of the architecture and everything?
Yes, a little bit.
You did, okay. Yeah. And it is just fascinating. It's a whole other city. It's another country.
Feel like I felt like I was in another country. Yeah. Last night I was there. Sarah very kindly drove me around, and the architecture is unbelievable.
And here's the embarrassing part to me. It's a 3-hour flight from LA. Like, there's no reason that we should just take off Monday.
Can we do the show there next week?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Oh, we're in the Saints. I go marching in.
All right, so tune into RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 4, Fridays, 8 p.m. on VH1. Next week, it's the finale.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
This week is Sex and the Kitty Girl 3. The sequel that was never meant to be.
I'm excited.
Okay, so we got to take a quick break.
I went on a really good haunted tour when I was there, and I saw some ghosts.
You did?
Yeah.
You're delivering it like you're a 40s child actor.
I did. They took us to a haunted house, and I felt a presence. It was yeah.
Blake is going to ask us a question.
JSJ spoke of the new, that's James St. James.
That's me.
Oh.
Spoke of the new TNT Limited series, I Am the Night, about the Black Dahlia murder.
God, we all care about.
Where was the Black Dahlia believed to have last been seen alive?
Well,
you know that one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're listening to the Wow Report on Radio Andy SiriusXM, and we'll have the answer right after the break.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report.
Welcome back to the Wow Report. I'm Fenton here with Tom and James and Blake, and we're doing what we normally do, counting down the top 10 things that make us go, wow! Before the break, the question was, Blake.
James St. James spoke of the new TNT Limited series, I Am the Night, about the Black Dahlia murder. Where was the Black Dahlia believed to have last been seen alive?
And this is what I know the answer to this, so I'm recusing myself here. But I do want to say that this is another reason why Fenton should probably care about the Black Dahlia.
I'm sure I'm wrong, but I have a feeling it was the Formosa bar.
I was going to say the same thing.
No.
All right. Okay, it was the Magic Castle.
No.
It was World of Wonders headquarters.
Close.
Very close.
What?
It was across the street. No, across the street over at the
Bordners.
At Bordners. She went to Bordners, and that was the last time. And that's why you often see Black Dahlia, her picture stenciled along the sidewalk here.
Wow.
Borders is a bar literally outside the door of World of Wonder
One of the
that I
oldest
refer
in
to
Hollywood.
as World of Wonder's Human Resources Department.
But it is one of the oldest bars in Los Angeles, and that's where she was.
Where was her body found?
It was on
At like 29th and Normandy or something. Like,
Oh, really? I thought
south.
it wasn't like on the 101.
Mm-mm.
I guess the 101 wasn't.
No,
built
but someone
then.
was driving past, and like I said, they thought that it was a mannequin. They thought it was a drugstore mannequin because there was just limbs and then a torso and a head that was like sort of attached, and there was no blood coming out of it because the person who was obviously a surgeon drained the body of all the blood.
And did they? I mean, because I know I Am the Night is about the daughter of, the child of, but did they ever find out who?
No, they never did. It's still one of the great unsolved murders of our time. And the fact that it was in the 1940s, it was sort of like before the time when there was a lot of serial killing. It was one of those things that shocked the
It was
entire
still
nation.
new and fresh and fun.
Well, I mean, you had
You had the World's Fair murderer, right?
yeah, and I mean, Jack the Ripper, and there had been things that have, but it wasn't like an everyday occurrence like there is now.
I see.
Number 4.
All right. Well, at number 4, Tom, we have an everyday occurrence to discuss.
This was in my Facebook feed, so it's worthy talking about. It's
Someone was trying to tell you something?
maybe, or I'd ordered something like it. And Blake's is running long, so I'm going to make this really, really quick. Do you know that 90% of adults pick their noses?
Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's
Which to
very
me,
healthy.
I'm more concerned about the 10% of people who don't pick their noses. But let's get into that. But it turns out, do you think that eating your boogers is good for you or bad for you? 90% of people pick them, but should you eat them? James, do you think?
Is there a statistic on who eats?
Well, I know.
Eaters
No,
versus
they
eaters?
won't. No, they haven't done that. It's going to be part of the next U.S. Census, but it's not there
drug
yet.
addicts, eat their boogers a lot because there's still drugs in the mucus. And also, I remember back in the day, there was a club kid who he was famous for smoking his boogers because there was still cocaine in the boogers, and he would light it up.
So that would be, if you're a drug addict, yes, it's good.
yes.
Okay, that's good. Good.
I think it must be a good thing because there must be protein or nutrients in the boogers. Because it's slime, right?
Lots
It's
of
sort
vitamin
primal
D,
slime.
vitamin C, vitamin B.
Now, here's a guy who bites his fingernails, but unfortunately, boogers trap invading viruses and bacteria before they can enter your body. So eating boogers might expose your system to these pathogens.
Wait, so it's sort of like getting a.
No. They're saying don't eat them because they're kind of blocking. It's the last line of defense your body has to outside viruses and things.
That's why
So
you have nose hairs.
They're very yes.
They're supposed to stick to
Cilia.
the nose hairs. And then
But maybe
yes.
if you're eating it, then you're building up an immunity
That's
to
what
them.
I would say. Yes, it's like an injection. It's
Yeah,
just
Maybe
like
that's why
injecting
kids
yourself.
eat their boogers. They build up their immunity.
Yeah, according to Randy, his kids are like Randy's had a cold for like 19 months now. It's like I think the kids bring it home.
I never used to eat my boogers, but I have to say I do. I'm going to admit it. I mean, I think it's unseemly. I feel a little shame saying it, but come on, let's be honest. I mean,
feel like you've
used
just
to.
gone down a peg in my estimation.
I think it's
really,
better to eat them
It's
than
better
to
to
smear
eat
them
it-
on innocent surfaces, which I know a lot of people do. You go to the bathroom here at World of Wonder, you see smeared boogers on the
No,
wall.
you do not.
What you do is you roll them, all
And
the moisture
flick
out of
'em.
them until
This
they're
is gone too
until they're
far.
just
And then you
until
flick
they're
them
just
into
brief.
space.
Yeah. I am so glad. I feel so much closer to you guys, and I don't want to touch you as a result.
I like the fact that both of you have avoided answering the question.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't eat my
Okay,
boogers.
Moving on.
Number 3.
Number 3, James.
Roger Stone has been in the news a lot lately.
Who?
Treated worse than Osama bin Laden? I don't think so. Right.
Well, he's a bit of a Batman villain. The way he dresses and the way he talks and everything.
Absolutely, yeah.
And after he was arrested, he sort of went on. His lawyer said, "Please don't talk to the press." And of course, he can't stop himself.
Yeah.
And he's been doing a tour and he's been appearing everywhere. He showed up at Women for Trump rally in Virginia, which right there you got to think, women for Trump. What?
Beyond an oxymoron, right?
How odd is this? There's video of him arriving to a thundrous ovation. The women are just going bananas for him, and the women are all very Stepford wivesy, as you can imagine. This is in Virginia. It's the South, the Deep South. They're all like weird Republican women.
Yep.
He goes on stage and he starts, a 10-minute ovation. There's on Twitter, you can find it. There was someone named Luke Rolfing who taped it all, and it's fascinating. fascinating because he's talking about his love of Richard Nixon, okay? Which right, you think like what? And he says a quote here.
He has Nixon tattooed on his back.
He has Nixon tattooed on his back, and so he's talking about that to the women. And he says, "My reverence." This is a quote. "My reverence for Richard Nixon is based on his resilience, on his persistence." And the audience starts applauding right there. And he says, he once said, "A man is not finished when he is defeated. A man is only finished when he quits." And the crowd goes berserk for this.
Didn't Nixon quit?
Well,
go on.
But I got chills when I saw the crowd's reaction.
Chills? What sort of chills?
Well, I started thinking to myself,
goosebumps.
beep, 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 beep.
Callbacks.
But I kept thinking to myself, is this like the new game plan of the Trump administration where you're going to try and rehabilitate Nixon's image? You're going to try and normalize what he did and make him seem like he's a victim. And that way, when it all comes down on Trump, that they can sort of...
They're rewriting history.
They're rewriting history. And is this the way to get Republicans on board with Trump? Trump's crimes is to normalize Nixon?
It shows how deeply divided we are and how people are willing to like manipulate history. And Roger Stone, you know, I had one of my high school friends who challenges my liberal posts, but you know, he was making another point altogether. But he goes, Roger Stone's a nut. It's like, he's more than a nut.
No, he's
like playing him off as like he's a Batman. And he is a Batman villain. It's an excellent description, but he's so much more. He's so like someone else wrote like he is like a free democracy. Someone like this in a free democracy is so corrosive that because he is able to say and do what he wants because of a free democracy, but what he says is so damaging.
Look, he's absolutely sort of Trumpy like. He has lied, and lied. Trump has lied, and lied, and they both, as their mentors, can quote Roy Cohn,
right,
who lied, and lied, who supported Nixon. I mean, there's this kind of confederacy of liars whose sole mission is to pervert and subvert the truth. Yeah. And I agree he's a bat villain and a ludicrous figure, but frankly, at the time, so was Hitler. People just didn't take him seriously, thought he was a joke. Yeah. And I think he's extraordinarily dangerous and should be locked up.
I found it absolutely chilling the fact that they're trying to normalize Nixon and trying to make Nixon into the victim and a good guy so that they can say the same thing.
But
about
I love
Trump.
it. His thing. It's not when you lose. It's when you quit. He resigned. So
yeah,
I guess
it's like
he
Sarah
lost.
Palin calling people quitters.
It really doesn't matter because everything out of their mouths is lies, and all they're trying to do is create a two-side type equation. There are no two sides in this. It's a very simple, clear thing. And I would say to that end, we're not really divided at all. There's people on one side who understand truth and what reason and justice and fairness is, and then there are people who do not. But that's not the other side. That is not a side.
Right.
There's people lacking moral comprehension and dimension and depth.
Number two.
Super Bowl. I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it.
I slept through the whole day.
No interest in watching it.
I don't know.
I did see the one commercial that I did see that had me gasping in horror was the Game of Thrones / Bud Light commercial where they had it was like they combined the two together, and those are two things.
Was it about corn syrup? There was something I saw in the news because they play all of the
No, it was
ads
about
on the
Bud
news.
Light and
But
Game
Bud
of
Light was
Thrones.
sort of saying it was another ad that's controversial where Bud Light said they don't use corn syrup in their beers.
Oh no! This was back in the day. This is like knights jousting, and then all of a sudden they're drinking Bud Light beer, and back in the medieval times, and then a dragon comes, and you realize that it's actually a commercial for Game of Thrones.
Super Bowl, Bud Light, Game of Thrones. I'm out. Strike three. I don't do any of those things.
There was a Pepsi ad that I didn't see it. I just read the review, and it said that they're asking the question in the ad: "Is Pepsi okay?" And they're like, why would you even make an ad like that? Is Pepsi okay? Because it's sort of
Pepsi was making an ad?
Yes. It's like, is Pepsi okay? Did you see it?
I didn't. I mean,
whenever you need 140 calories of corn syrup, Pepsi's okay.
Did that Kendall
Pepsi
Jenner
okay?
commercial, so
Is Pepsi okay?
They're trying.
No, Pepsi are the bad guys.
And then there was a Washington Post ad.
Yes.
Democracy dies in darkness.
Oh, that was a good one, actually.
Yeah.
I got a little chill, yeah.
And Burger King used the old Andy Warhol eating a burger
did
thing.
see that.
Which we saw at the exhibit.
Yeah.
The Whitney.
That was a
That
classic.
was a Serge Luton ad or something, wasn't it?
That was trending like on Twitter.
It was everywhere. It's like, why is this? Why
Andy
am
Warhol
I seeing
on
this?
Super Bowl
Because,
Sunday.
yeah, because it was in the Super
That was
Bowl.
kind of cool.
I can just tell you that ratings are down 5%, and it was the lowest Super Bowl in 10 years.
It's weird. And
well, wait a minute. Do you think that that's the Trump effect? Do you think that because Trump has been talking shit about the NFL and how he's been asking his base not to watch it because of the Colin Kaepernick?
Or is that the liberals not watching it?
Well, no, but I think that if you lose your base, I mean, if you lose the
except
Midwest,
Trump did a whole CBS interview that preceded, was part of the pre-show for the
and that was
Super
up. That
Bowls.
was he got huge ratings for that.
The one thing I want to say, and Adam Levine is a handsome man and talented man. I don't like his music, but there's that picture. There's that picture of him. They have huge hits, which become like
and
jingles.
everyone's saying, "Well, how Janet Jackson couldn't show her nipple, but Adam Levine could."
There's the whole Nipplegate thing, but he's covered in tats that look like, I don't know, kind of like a kid's wallpaper to me. And he's like, he's got leather pants, he's sexy, and there's flames behind him. And the best caption I've seen, straight out of Brentwood. Because he's like a rich kid from Brentwood who's all tatted up.
Before he revealed his chest, was wearing a T-shirt
that was based on a 70s pillow design.
Right.
Yes.
Fabric,
and everybody would pull out their fabric and show his thing. But someone, I think Tony Tripoli wrote, like, it's not so much that he has the ugly T-shirts, that so many people have that print in their house that's really upsets me.
All right.
Super Bowl was super blah. There I said it. It's weird. Oscars, everything traditional, these kind of big tentpole moments. Again, with Ariana Grande changing the face of Earth.
Yes.
With
You're
her
right.
multiple albums. There's a shift.
We're done
There's
with
a shift.
Maybe Ariana Grande should have done the halftime show.
Well, she should have, but not this year because we were making a point. We were saying, Colin Kaepernick, we stand with you.
Boop, boop, boop. All right, we got to take a quick break. Hey, I'm going.
Why?
What? No!
We're going to reveal our amazing number one, and just isn't room for me. And I'm going to go and spend a few days in Mexico City. So I'll see you guys later, but stick around because the number one thing that made us go wow is truly gay-mazing, right?
Yeah.
Listen to Wow Report on Radio. Andy, Tom, and James, take it away.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the Wow Report. Our fearless leader, Fenton Bailey, has bailed. He's left the building to make room for our very extra special guests who need no introduction. Yes, they do. It's radio. You can't see them. You can't see them. But, we are to the point.
But they're the biggest stars on the planet right now. They have just blown up. We love them to death.
Number one.
And this is the number one thing this week that made us go, wow. And it's
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, now and it's 2/3 of the cast of Backyard Envy, the Manscapers, although one of them's a woman. It's the fabulous James, the fabulous Mel.
Hello.
And they are here. We love them madly, truly, and deeply, and we happen to make a show with them. So that's nice when those two things
you for doing
coincide.
It's we're very lucky to make a show with you.
Yes, and it's Thursdays. Let's do the plugs all throughout.
Thursdays, 10 p.m. on Bravo.
Bravo. That's one of my favorite networks.
Bravo,
It is right after $1 Million listing.
Yeah.
LA, which is off the hook this year.
Yes.
It is so good.
It's
this
like a
year.
brand new season, yet it's everything I love about the old seasons.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you guys because I wasn't able to get a chance to watch it, and I watched the first episode today. Actually, I watched To Be or Not to Be today. Is that the second one or the first one?
That's the second episode.
Is it? It might be.
Second.
They're like,
I don't
we've
know.
been making these for like a year.
No,
Don't
second
ask us
episode.
what's on
our
top.
show.
No.
You're like, you think I know
That's
the
the
episode?
second one. That's the second
You
one.
guys,
Yes.
it is
Yeah.
so much
That's the
fun,
second
and you
one.
were all so adorable in it. And
Thank you.
like the way you mesh together is so. How long have you known each other?
It's all fake. We just met.
We got cast for the show.
Wait,
Exactly.
You two
Like a
have been
housewife.
friends forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
Yes.
We met 10 years ago in college. We went to FIT together, or longer, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And yeah,
James was really seeking me out. He thought I was cool. He was like
She loves
really
telling this
no,
made
he
up
was
story.
it's not made up.
Completely
He
made
was
up.
no, he was really courting me to be his friend at school.
I was
'Cause
20 years old and she lived in a brownstone in the West Village. So
Enough said.
I was a little bit more chic back then.
You're still pretty
went all
chic.
downhill since
So
she
it's sort
met
of a
me.
mentor-mentee relationship.
Yeah.
Is
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I had just moved to New York. I was like a kid, and Mel was older.
What year is this? Are we in the early 2000s? Or
Older, burn.
Oh, he loves that. He loves that.
Well, you are older.
No,
than
I
me.
am. I went back to school for a second time, so
Nice.
I'm older, but I have 2 degrees.
Yes.
There you go.
Older and,
I have
smarter.
And then Garrett, who is, oh my God, he's so beautiful. He's just so, I mean, like literally so just dreamy.
I'm sure they
AF.
love to hear that.
do.
Go
No,
on,
no,
more.
There
Gets
it
a
is.
lot of attention.
No, because you were all, I mean, you were handsome, you were gorgeous, you're fabulous. I loved you all. And the way you all like just complete each other. It's just wonderful to watch.
you.
But when did you meet Garrett?
And what's his home phone number? Is that what you're?
Yeah.
Is that, let me just get to it.
Well, no, I mean, no, because I follow him on Instagram, so of course I'm like, hearting everything.
Yeah.
But I can just stalk him from afar. That's fine.
Yeah,
I
you
can just
should.
give you his address. And number. That's fine. It makes
They
it
have
easier,
it, Mel.
right?
They have it.
But we met Garrett. Garrett was a friend of James's. They had mutual friends, and we all lived very close to each other. Actually, we were roommates, and Garrett lived very close to us. I think he was going through a bad breakup or something. And
We
he
used
ended
to
up at
watch
our
The
home.
Bachelor
Yeah,
together
he ended up at our
on
house
Mondays.
every single night.
And we did an
Yeah.
interview with one of the bachelors yesterday, so it was really
Yeah.
like full
Full circle.
It really was.
It
It was
really
like we were like,
was.
this is weird that
I
we're
know.
interviewing with you right now for your radio show.
But we
and
were with
that's how we
him
met.
night after night and just hanging out, and that's how we became family.
Yeah.
And now you each have your own little specialty that you bring to it.
Because your company, the show's called Property Envy
Yeah.
on Bravo, 10 p.m. on Thursday.
Backyard Envy.
Backyard
Our own
Envy.
show names.
Backyard Envy. We did a show called Property. Backyard Envy. At least I didn't say penis envy. Oh, there I did it. There I did it. But the name of your company in New York that people can actually hire you
Yeah.
is.
Manscapers, New York.
I love that.
Yeah.
And how did that all start? When did this friendship become a business?
We started basically because we would throw. Me and Mel used to live together too before she had
in
a
her big
baby.
brownstone.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. No, not in the big brownstone. In a smaller brownstone in Brooklyn, a more modest brownstone.
I had a rich boyfriend back then.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so just
exactly.
being honest.
I
here.
love it. That's where this
We
is.
paid for this brownstone, which sucks. And we used to. Garrett's birthday is like in the beginning of May, so he would always want to have a birthday party, and we would do it in our backyard, and we invite like all the hottest guys in New York, and but we'd have to get the space ready, so it would be like a total transformation from like a concrete barren space into an amazing backyard, and everyone's like, what is this? Who does this? How did you make this amazing garden? We're like, we've been doing it like every year.
Wait, so you didn't go to school for this? This is not.
We went to school for interior design, so we like to think it's very closely
Yeah, sure.
related.
Yeah.
We were not plant specialists when we started, but
Because
you
wait,
know,
Garrett seems to be like he's the flower plant specialist.
Yeah.
You are the construction. You are the money guy. You are the
Yeah.
the big picture person.
exactly, and we're all
Okay.
designers, so like we all take on the design lead and roles, and then kind of divide and conquer from there. But Garrett has, he comes from a landscaping background with his family, and he's taken a lot of classes, and we've all just sort of learned as we've gone along, continuing to, as you do, like with anything, you know. So there was a little bit of fake it till you make it.
And then we got sick of our
everything.
jobs, and
Yeah.
we were like, let's do something else, and we started the company.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And you're living inside. And you're all eating, so you're successful,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
That's my bar of success. I'm living inside.
I was like, where are you going?
I eat meals, and I can even do Postmates once in a while. That's to me the sign of like I have made it. Are my ambitions too
funny.
small?
No, I'm
No.
the same way. I'm like, I can put clothes on my daughter. We're good.
Yes.
We're okay.
True.
Yeah.
How old is your daughter now?
She's 2.5.
Oh my god.
Now,
so
is she on the
cute.
show at all?
A little
She's
bit.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was more like when we were filming the pilot, like which
That's
you
right.
guys were a part of, and she literally used to come to set with us every single day, like. And
Well, when they're babies, they just do whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
Now
Yeah.
that she's a toddler, she's
Well, she has her own personality.
it's too much. Like
Yeah.
She's like, Mama, I don't want to lift those rocks. Mama, I don't want to sew those tiny seams.
It's time for my close-up, Mama.
So we put her in preschool now, so she's not on the job site as much.
But Mel used to like take breaks from like digging holes to go breastfeed, like literally, like in the middle of the day.
You are a woman.
Yeah.
Here you pump.
Yeah.
Now, I have some good news. I have some bad news.
Okay.
Bad news is the show has come to an end.
Oh.
The good news is that after we're over, we're going to continue talking, and you can go to the Wow Report, worldofwonder.net, and hear our continued conversation with the fabulous 2/3 of the fabulous cast of Backyard
Backyard
Envy.
Envy.
I want to say Backyard Envy.
Thursday nights at 10 on Bravo.
Oh, I didn't want to plug, but I'm glad you brought it up. Thank you. This is a little taste. You guys, we love you. Thank you for sticking around. For those of you driving, it's the Wow Report on Radio Andy. You can listen to us on the app anytime. And we like to do a little, we promote ourselves sometimes because there is an event coming up in the future that you should be planning for now, which is RuPaul's Drag Con. You guys have been.
Oh my God, it's so much fun.
Have you been to RuPaul's Drag Con LA?
We've been to LA.
No.
Come on out. Come on out.
When is it?
It's May 24th, 25th, and 26th. Very casual conversation. I'm very podcast. And it's at the LA Convention Center. You can go to RuPaul'sDragCon.com to find out how to get tickets and where it's coming. We'll all be there. We're going to be there, so you guys come.
We'll probably be there.
Blake will be there. Hi, Blake. Until the next time, oh my gosh, this went by so quick. Go out and do something that makes the world go, wow!
Yeah, no, actually, because the LA Drag Con and the New York Drag Con are like completely different animals. Yeah.
How would you describe the difference?
I think in New York, everybody, it's more of a party atmosphere, kind of, I think, and everybody's a little looser and everybody sort of knows each other a little more. I think in LA, it's a little more fan experience. And in LA, they spend more money. They, yeah.
Maybe you want to have a booth at Drag
Con.
In New York, you're like, oh, I'm not buying this shit.
Well, in New York, everybody sort of wants something for free, I think, is what it is.
Sounds about right.
Sounds very familiar.
And everybody's trying to scam you to get like, oh, if I get this, can I get a free, picture with you?
They haggle.
Yeah, they do. They do. There's a little more haggling involved.
That's so New York. Oh,
yeah.
We're moving to LA.
So
and
now
the looks are very different too. New York and LA have very different drag.
It's bigger too, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
We are recording this interview during the polar vortex.
Yes.
You guys have been here for a week. We've just finally been able to sit down with you.
Yep.
What you love vegetation? You love plants?
Yeah. What do you do in a polar vortex? Do you have
no?
Much
But
business?
I'm saying, what would you ever consider bringing Manscapers to LA?
Yes,
it's one of the reasons we're here.
Yeah.
We're trying to open up. We've been taking client meetings. We're doing press, but we've been taking client meetings, and we've seen people have money here, like a lot.
And
they
a lot
want to
more
spend
space.
it on their home. So I'm like, we need to set our business up so that we can be here like January to April. Maybe we'll start filming like the beginning of our season out here.
I love it.
Or
I love
maybe
it.
You just need a whole other show. You need to have like two shows going at the same time.
Work the whole. James, I like the way
You can do the whole LA show with bleached blonde hair. And then you can do. That's how I know I'm watching LA or New York when I slip by.
It'll be like the Californians, like that's.
We took the 101 to the 405.
What are you doing here?
In New York, everybody just puts up a string of Christmas lights and calls it a day.
Yeah.
Because nobody has any space. Out here, people really do. They have backyards that are like parks that are like the size of Central Park. And I just think you would have a lot of.
It's also like outdoor living here. Like people really love being outside. Whereas in New York, you're like, oh, I have an outdoor space. I guess I'll use it.
Yeah.
No, we're doing this. You don't have to convince us. We're doing it. We will be open. We're open now in LA.
Yeah.
We actually have taken on a couple clients already. So
this is we're actually in your office here in the window at World of Wonder. Look for the RuPaul star, take it right, and it's Manscapers LA. You've only been on a few weeks, but it's making quite a splash. And I think we saw. I was in New York and I saw you at Zoe's right before this all started, and I was like, the very least, a reality show is the best like Facebook page in the world. Has it helped your business?
Oh my God, Mel's been like heading up that department of work right now.
New business, yeah.
And just like manning all the phones and the emails, and it's like, okay, I have 18 phone calls scheduled today. I hope we can go do this interview with Tom and James right now.
I do notice that like your Instagram numbers have all three of your numbers have shot up.
By the way, your Instagrams you should give your handles because they're very you manage your Instagram very well.
Thank you. At James_DeSantis.
At Mel Brazier. Is that mine?
Yes.
Garrett is.
Oh, and Garrett is Garrett B. McGee.
Don't ask where that means.
what the B stands for, but you can guess for yourself. Yes, exactly.
Buttocks.
Botox. I didn't say it. You guessed.
Ding, 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 ding,
Hadn't thought of that.
But people are they're loving you. People like are very thirsty online for all three of you. Are you getting noticed on the streets? Are people screaming when they see you?
In LA,
oh my God.
for the first time, really? Because in New York, people aren't really like that. Like,
sure.
We've been noticed so much. It's like freaky. It's a
Have
really
you
weird
been in WeHo?
feeling.
Have people?
Yes,
Yes.
You're
WeHo.
staying in WeHo. Are you going to the big gay
Literally
Starbucks? Because
in
you're
WeHo.
are you going to the big gay Starbucks?
No. Oh wait. Yes, we did.
No,
yes.
James.
Yeah.
Okay, I will.
What?
I will
What?
call you out here. He sat on Sunday. Sat at the Abbey.
We were.
And just
We were
sat
trying
back,
to be
right?
recognized.
And he
We were
just was
trying
like,
to
"Come
be-
and stay." Yeah. He was living it up.
Because
I
I
will say.
said Mel would get the biggest kick
I
out of
do.
it, out of
I-
everyone. Like, you know,
It's so funny because I'm not used to attention. I don't have a huge network of friends. So for me, when people were coming up and knowing who we were, I was really, I don't know how I felt. It was like blown away, shocked, happy, fun, but also like, oh my God, is this really happening?
Well,
Right.
give it
So-
6 months, and then you're gonna be like, you know,
Get away from me! I'm trying to live a life. I didn't sign up for all this
pictures,
invasion
please.
of privacy.
But it's funny. We were eating with the baby, like in WeHo, and I don't know, somebody walked by, and then later they were like, "We saw you were with your family, and we didn't want to bug you, but can we take a picture now?" And I'm
my
like,
God.
"It's not my family, but sure."
Excuse me, that is your goddaughter.
You are your family. Yeah,
Yes.
you're the chosen family.
Yeah,
Yes,
true.
yeah.
Years and years ago, this is just because you guys don't have big heads yet. I'm going to share
I had one before this
something.
started.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Did you guys know each other beforehand? Is that how?
No,
you
but we've
went
met
through
during
it,
this
but we've
development
known each other
process.
for a
No, but
while.
he's been
Yeah.
a star in the making for, I don't know, his
Oh,
whole
I
life.
can see.
Yeah.
Ready for his
I know.
close-up. But this is a stupid story. But Dana Carvey years ago on MTV years ago they were doing a special about fame, and he said if you took a grapefruit and put it on television every Saturday night from 8 to 8:30, and then it was a picture of a grapefruit like on a mirror thing going around. And it goes, and after a month, you rolled that grapefruit into the mall. People would stop and go, "Honey, isn't that grapefruit we see on television?" So that's the way he kept his head small. So I just want to
really
say,
funny.
so you're a grapefruit on television. No, you're so much more, so much
Or
more.
an egg on the internet, on Instagram. Right?
That's wouldn't that be great?
It's really is the egg. It's the same thing. You're right. Okay. Well, at least my head's the size of a grapefruit.
Well, wait, I do know that you had been in World of Wonder last week. I think you
Yeah.
came
Yes.
in,
Yeah.
and you guys did a Besties for Cash.
Yeah, we won
Yes.
$60, which
You
I guess
did?
is a
That's a
lot.
lot of money.
That's a lot.
Well, there goes bagels this Friday.
I was gonna say
No more bagels.
You are on
Thanks.
Randy and Fenton's shit list now. But you are
have to
taking
say-
money from our paycheck.
Whatever.
We robbed,
We need some staples next week.
Yeah.
But we didn't really get anything right. James,
we did.
No,
I
James
thought we got
convinced
all of
the
them
crew
right.
that we got him right. So he talked his
Wait,
way.
so
That's
you
a
were, like,
skill.
finagling
That's a
money
skill.
out,
Okay,
like-
the problem was that there was some confusion on the questions. You know, they weren't
Not our
that-
production team.
no,
Not
that was
our
like-
production
We
team.
read them
me.
wrong.
It's-
each of us.
He was
We-
like,
it
Mel
was
doesn't have reading
interpretation.
comprehension skills, so she ruined this for us.
Well, now I went and checked out what all the questions were.
Yeah.
And I went and so I have some more questions
good,
for you
okay.
guys
Okay.
that I think you guys can answer. Who is the biggest flirt out of you three?
Garrett.
Garrett
That's
Yeah.
me.
with his phone.
I'll play Garrett.
We're all very flirty, though. I would say.
You said he flirts with his phone?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
No, I said
On
it.
his
Yeah,
phone.
on his phone.
On his
Oh,
phone.
his phone.
Yes.
Oh.
Who is the biggest lush?
Me,
Yeah.
for sure.
For
but I
sure.
can handle.
Are you drunk now?
myself.
Are you drunk now?
I wish I was.
It's like 3 in the afternoon, whatever.
Yeah, this is the lightning round. Who takes the longest to get ready?
I
Mel,
do.
for sure.
No, okay.
Because I'm taking. I
She's
get
a girl.
my
You're a
kid
girl,
ready.
you got a
Yes,
kid.
Yes.
This is always the big important one. Who would be the first killed in a horror movie?
Me.
Probably me. No? Oh, I don't know.
We
Why do you
die
think it would
together.
be you?
Oh.
Actually, maybe Garrett. He's
He's kind of.
He's gonna have sex with someone and be killed.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it works.
It's always the
Them's the
home.
rules.
It's always
Them's the rules. I don't make them up.
Well, who would be the killer of the three
Oh,
of
probably me,
Yeah, you.
actually.
you? Yeah.
It would seem so obvious that you were the killer that no one would believe it. And then, of course, he's the killer.
Who spends the most money on a project?
Who's the
Who-
who,
who's
not-
who
Yeah,
goes
who's
over
the
budget?
overspender?
Me,
Yeah.
I do.
No,
You- I
probably.
saw that already. Yes.
Only because I'm in charge of the largest bulk of the work as far as dollar amount, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they would work for free. So, if they
Okay,
could.
okay. And so do you guys clash over that a lot over the
Oh
course of
yeah!
the series?
Oh my god!
lot.
It's probably the biggest conflict. I would
Do
say.
you
of the
guys
whole
have you
thing.
gone over budget? Because I've only, like I said, I've only
Yes.
seen the one, and you were you were like, it
If
was.
we come in on budget, it's a
It's a good day.
it's a good day.
Should we start? Should we start a GoFundMe? Is there a problem?
Yes.
Is there something going on that we
Yes.
should talk about?
Who is most likely to skip a day showering?
Me for sure. I do it all the time.
Really?
I love
And
my
like this
shower.
question.
I'm so glad because I didn't know how to bring it up.
Right? I was trying to get to the bottom of it. Who has the most dirty pictures in their phone?
Garrett.
It's maybe tied though.
Oh, wait, actually, I
I
don't
have a
know.
lot.
Okay.
I don't know, but
You're
he
very
probably has
private
the
about
most.
that.
Okay.
He has the most received, probably.
And,
you know.
And about each other, who say something. What is her best quality, and what is his best quality?
Mel's best quality is selfless. Like she puts other people first, which is the opposite of me usually.
Okay, thank you. James's best quality is that he thinks big picture all the time, and he pushes us forward all the time. Nothing scares him. So, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is that true?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Well, I think you just won another $60.
If only I had any money. I lost my wallet. I was in New Orleans and I lost my wallet.
Did you?
But someone stalked me through social media and is sending it back.
Really?
It's kind of good.
That's
I had to
so
go
How
through
did
the
you
air.
I was going to say, how did you get through the airport?
I got there early and they say just show up. But they put in my name. They called someone. It was like, what's your home address? Who else has lived there?
What?
And I had a pat down, and the guy said, I'm going to do like a thorough pat down. He goes, you want to do it in public or in private? I'm like, public. And then he said, when I get to your junk, he goes, I'm going to use the back of my hand. I'm like, whatever turns you on, soldier. It was kind of, I liked it.
That's
Wait a minute.
so funny.
In order to, you didn't have any ID on you.
No, and they're like, do you have prescription pills? Do you have a bill? I'm like,
So you
no,
can't
like
get
everything's.
through the
I thought
airport
my.
if you don't have it.
You do. It takes a while.
Okay.
And I got there early, and I thought for sure my phone, which has my thumbprint and all of my
right.
itinerary, but no.
So I'm gonna go back to the grapefruit comment. Now
Uh-oh.
that we are on TV and we're public figures, could we just show them like our show and be like, "This
I don't
is
think
us"?
so. If there's a billboard or something at the
Yeah,
airport,
yeah.
like that. Do you know that you know your border already on? Do you know who I
Yeah,
am?
exactly.
Do you know who I
I've been
am?
waiting to say
till
it.
that comes out of his mouth. It will come out of his mouth.
And one more, you did because I was watching online while you guys were going around LA. Did you do Did you do Pump?
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you do? Did you do?
We did
the
pump. We
Yeah,
did pump. I
yeah.
think that, and our waiter was like, "Well, I'm a huge fan," and I was like, and we got great service, and usually it's not that good there. I was like, I wonder if he thinks we like know Lisa because we're on the same network or something. And
Yeah.
He's treating us like VIP. I thought,
But she's on a different night than you guys. So how would you ever meet?
I mean, a much better. Yeah.
I don't get it. In the
In
clubhouse.
the clubhouse.
At Andy's baby shower. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
No.
have you
my
had a
God.
splurge yet? Have you had would you go to Rodeo and just and have an impossible splurge?
I would love to if we had the money.
Are you implying that they're making money on the show, James?
no,
we
no,
try to
you're-
keep it all.
You're new multi-millionaires,
Yes,
100 million at
exactly.
least.
Right.
I
Of
think
course.
we are actually being very smart, and we're reinvesting all the money we're making into
Back into the- into
yeah,
the
into the
business, yeah.
business. We're working on a product line that's gonna, I think, do very well. I think we're at a good wave of like this landscape design trend.
Yeah.
And you know, doing it at the exact right time because people are obsessed with the outdoors and plants, and it's sort of everywhere. So I think that we're hoping to be very successful in the future.
It's
I agree.
inspirational.
I agree.
Yeah.
You know, he's
Thank you,
talking
And
about
it's
this.
aspirational.
Yeah.
Inspirational, aspirational.
Ass.
And-
Inspirational.
He's talking about this trend that we're riding, which I agree. I recently read a headline. It was millennials prefer plants over children. We're like, okay, great. We're in the right business.
I buy that.
Me too.
But the fact that you're friends who've come together, who've like bonded together, make a new and it's sort of it's green, like literally green, like you're
is.
bringing green into the world and beauty. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's a right amount of like fun and friendly, and also there's some bitchery and some
Yeah.
conflict.
Are you
So-
talking about
has to be
Backyard
good
Envy Thursdays at 10 on
This radio
Bravo?
show.
Yeah. Oh. I love that we're all. Well, you wearing? We're all in black.
I know.
Yes.
LA
Welcome to green. We
rain.
should have put a little something. We should have had a little succulent or something on the table.
yeah.
Oh, we do have some succulents upstairs.
Second.
I
Will you tell Garrett that we're sorry we missed
I
him?
know he was sad.
That you guys are welcome back anytime.
This is so
Thank you.
fun.
This is very fun, and we should shout out to our friend Zoe, right? Because
I love
Hi,
Zoe.
Zoe put us all together, and you guys
she
are friends
did.
with Zoe.
We
Like
are.
you like
So are you.
a lot. I am. Yeah, but you guys spend a lot. Well, you're in the same city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love
Who's
Zoe.
here?
No, we
She's
love
become
Zoe.
like family.
Yeah.
I adore her.
Yeah.
Randy's trying to set her up. Let's just leave it there.
really?
Oh,
Oh my God.
oh, that's a lot of information on the intertubes.
She doesn't want a gay husband.
No, not with me. If I had kids, I think I could marry her.
Really?
I think if I wanted kids.
You
And I
probably
would.
Could she loves you? She
Why?
loves you
Why?
so
Why
much.
marry? That's part of this whole gender meltdown. Like we should just all marry each other. It's old fashioned. It's very
I
like
agree.
have a gay husband and lovers
Yeah, it
and
would
live in a
be
castle,
It would be so much fun.
right?
I'm not.
Will you marry
I'm not
me?
with you on that.
No.
I don't need to marry a woman. I'm sorry.
I don't
we
either,
can be
actually.
besties. We can. But I don't need
Separate
to.
bedrooms, separate bathrooms,
well, okay, in that
separate dressers,
case.
separate things, and a lot of exotic, men courtiers for you.
I guess we could split wardrobes or something. I don't know.
You and
All
Zoe
right.
would be like a power couple,
Right.
right? That would be a
Well,
really
I'm counting on
good-
Zoe to employ me in my old age. Just I don't know something like
Same,
write some
same.
copy.
Zoe,
Write some
Zoe,
copy.
Zoe.
So
She'll
powerful,
be the
so
head of
young,
some
so
network.
powerful, so beautiful. All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
so much.
James, Mel, and again Garrett, who's not here, but it's. I want to keep saying.
Wait, did we plug Manscapers?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Do it again.
Manscapers.
At
NYC.
Manscapers NY. That's a good Instagram.
Oh,
too.
not NYC.
And they're really fun to
Yeah.
follow on the Instagram.
Yes.
Not just because as I said this before, but I like pictures of Garrett from the front, but I also like pictures of him walking away.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's how I'm saying it nice.
I love watching him walk away.
Different
Me
reasons.
too.
All right. Thanks for
Thank you,
watching.
guys.
And
Thank
do
you,
yourself a
guys.
favor and watch. And it streams too. It streams. You can watch
It's
it
on
anytime.
Amazon, iTunes.
No
it's
excuses.
on everything.
Backyard
Hulu.
Envy. All right. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Y'all come back down here.